Hi everybody, my name's Shelly. I've been with Forever for 18 months now. I must say, when I was asked to speak today, I was like, no way, I'm not doing that. And like, why me? But I was told I had to, I didn't have any choice. Every success day I pit at the back of the stage. I'm one of the people that Bob spoke about, and actually there was a couple of times when I was trying to get away that quick, he had to pull me back for a photo. It's not just because of nerves. I've actually suffered with anxiety since a child. There is no way I could have been in a room like this and not known where the exit was. I did actually find out as soon as I got here, it's over there. Oh, see, I've already started. Okay, so I'm up here as I've been in the top 4 business builders every month since my 3rd month in Forever. And these are my achievements in the first 14 months. I'm really shaking.
Go on, Shelly, you can do it.
People always ask me how I've managed to do it around my 3 young children. I've actually got 3 under 5 years old. But that's the power of sponsoring. So I'm going to tell you a bit about how I've done it. Okay, if you're hoping I'm about to give you some kind of secret script or sponsoring tool that you don't know about, then I'm sorry to disappoint you. When I first started, I was exactly the same. I was looking for a text message or a Facebook message that I could actually send to people and make it easier, and I didn't find it. But what I did was I just kept searching. I know that one of the keys to my success is in the fact that I just kept searching. You quite often hear people say that they didn't succeed because of their sponsor didn't tell them anything, because their sponsor didn't show them how to sponsor. Well, the truth is you don't need an upline, you just need a downline. And if you really want it, then you can get it. I spent hour after hour watching videos of all sorts of things. I was working 25 hours a week as a HR officer. So the only way I could do this was in my lunch breaks. Whilst I was cooking dinner for the children and while I was in the bath, I carried my phone around in my hoodie while I was doing the housework and just listened to it. Stuff about leading a team, although I didn't have one, how to achieve the incentives, although I hadn't even done 4 case credits, and how to sponsor in other countries, and I hadn't even sponsored one person in my hometown. Now some people think, what's the point in that, and what's that got to do with being good at sponsoring? But I think it's everything to do with being good at sponsoring. You see, the thing I think is the way that you come being good at sponsoring isn't about finding that best message, all the best business cards, all the best flyers, all the things that we try and work out when we first start. It's about turning all of the people on your who do you know list into a team member. And you've got the best way of doing that if you know what you're talking about. So it shouldn't be about the 2 case credits for signing someone up. It should be how you can change someone's life, and you need to be able to make them feel confident that Forever, and most importantly you, can do that. You need to be able to talk to people with excitement and passion about the business. I do work my business part-time still, even though I gave up my job 6 months after I started with Forever. Everyone wants to take their business at a different pace, and it's very important that you don't judge yourself by what other people are doing. This can be really damaging to your mindset and your business. We're all on our own journeys with different goals and dreams, and I know I could have grown my business a lot bigger by now, but the beauty of Forever is we can choose how much we work. And right now, I love being able to take my children to school, go to all the events and run them around to their mini class. You don't need to be one of these Forever superstars to change yours and other people's lives. It's the best feeling knowing that because you just showed someone the business opportunity, that they're now living a more financially stable and better life and have grown in confidence. The people that we all see flying through the marketing plan to positions like soaring in Sapphire in just a few years sponsor at least 4 to 5 people a month. And to do that, they talk to at least 10 or 15 people a day. And I know all this because obviously I've watched all of their training videos. I've done that some months, but my average is 3 people a month. It was actually 2.5 when I worked it out, but obviously it's better to say 3. But the reason why it worked out like that is I've only sponsored just 1 a month after my son was born, and that's due to time. Not due to time in prospecting, but how much time I needed to look after those people when my baby boy was born. And I've got a little Allo baby. Thomas is just 3 months old. Okay, how many people here want to earn more than £5,000 a month? Good. Okay, that was the goal I set myself when I got to manager. Before that, I didn't really have any idea that that's what I would be able to earn. This was based on covering my part-time human resources wage and my husband's rugby wage. So I had this very clear goal of the money I wanted to earn and the incentives I wanted to get. When I sat at my first VP in Maidstone, I said, I want to go to Cancun. That was my goal, not manager. So I just saw straight past that. And Moon Palace was really amazing, so it was good to get that. But you can't earn £5,000 a month unless you sponsor people. You can be the best retailer in forever. You could get lucky and find someone that pushes you to manager, but that still won't make any of your dreams come true. Unless you build a team, and it needs to be wide, and it needs to be deep to make it solid. And then you need to duplicate. It's no good sponsoring loads of people just to get that yellow case, even though we all want it. You need to show your team members how to do it, because duplication is key. Everyone would get people drop out of their business, as we've heard. That's another reason why you need to sponsor consistently. People joined me and stopped after a month or two, or bought their box and didn't even start. It's hard to get your head around it, and it's really demoralising. There were times I thought, can I really do this? It's so much harder than I thought. The worst was seeing my little sister get to supervisor and build a great team, go on holiday and come back and just stop. She was my second team member as well. The problem was I wanted it for her more than she wanted it for herself. And I knew at that point that I just had to accept if she didn't want to do it with me, there's going to be other people as well. So I had to just sponsor more and more people to cover this. So here's a few stats of mine. I've sponsored 40 people in total so far. 24 I already knew and 16 I didn't. Out of the ones I knew, 2 are family, 14 were Facebook friends, 5 were what I'd class as actual friends, 1 was my hairdresser, 2 were ex-colleagues. And out of the ones I didn't know, 3 were from adverts, 2 were from my husband speaking to people he worked with, 2 from contacting people on LinkedIn, 2 contacted me, and 2 were from my girls' nursery after seeing me in a recruiting jumper. 1 was a customer, who was a brand new customer, and 4 were where I contacted people about the business and they said no, but their partner joined, and sometimes it was the wife joined and I contacted the husband, or vice versa. So out of the 3 managers I have so far, Angie was my best friend from a teenager. She lives 2 hours away from me in Portsmouth. She was the first person I spoke to about the business, as I thought she would be great, and she'd done party plan for years. And she loved it. I knew she would say no though, as she was already working for a direct selling company and worked full-time as a PA and had 2 young children. So she said no, as expected, but referred me to her friend Claire. Claire I'd met before at a hen do and her wedding, and I thought with her business and sales experience she'd be great. Claire took a few weeks of looking at the business and saying she didn't want to do any more sales. But then after I asked her to please look at the marketing plan properly, she did, and then saw how we actually recommended the products and joined. So after Angie saw how well I was doing, and then Claire, she left her other direct selling company and she joined me. So Claire was my second manager and Angie my third. And then I have Scarlett, who's here today. Scarlett was my first manager. She was a complete stranger when she joined. A mutual friend of mine put a status on her Facebook saying she didn't want to go back to work after having half term off. I'd already contacted Louise about the business, but she said no. But I knew seeing her Facebook status that I had an opportunity that I couldn't miss. So I made a joke of it, but put something in the comments. You could always work with me, and then you get to choose what days and hours you work. About 15 minutes after, I had a message from Louise saying she still wasn't interested, but her work colleague Scarlett was, and could I email her the details? Of course I did, straight away. So Scarlett joined, and funnily enough, Louise, who was never interested in joining me, did join me afterwards and was completely gutted when Scarlett got to manager because she would have been her team member. So I started off by doing my who do you know list, as we were all told. I wrote down everyone out of my phone and out of my Facebook list, even if I hadn't spoken to them for 10 years. It's really important here that you don't write anybody off. Maybe you think they're too busy or have lots of money or think they would say no. The person you contact may not be interested, but their sister, uncle or anybody may be, and they may say no now, but in 6 months' time their circumstances may change. And that they would have stored that information in their head and followed you on Facebook. Now looking from the outside at me, I had a good job, I had young children, a nice house, a husband who already had 2 jobs, he was a site manager and a semi-professional rugby player. So there was no reason to think I'd be able to take on a business or need the money, but in fact I hated my boss and I wanted to leave for ages. And I wanted my husband to give up rugby so that we had more family time, as he's always all over the country. But we couldn't afford the loss in the money as we had credit cards building up after having the children. So your who do you know list isn't just who you knew before forever, it's who you meet every day. So make sure you keep adding to it. And you always need to be doing at least more than one thing every day to make sure this happens. Such as social media, pup boxes, marketing flyers, launches, stalls, online launches, contact marketing. Never leave home without marketing material. Have it in your bag, in your car, at all times, because you never know who you're going to meet. So Facebook really has been the main tool for me. It can be brilliant for business, but it can also be bad. And lots of people using it badly are starting to ruin things for everyone else. Spamming people's walls with clean line posts and recruitment posts just looks awful. And it isn't what Forever is all about. I use it to engage with people. I will comment on posts and pictures and start up conversations. I look for people I may know and I add them. It used to really annoy me when people added me and then didn't speak to me. But that was before Forever, and obviously now when everyone adds me, I'm really grateful. But if you add someone, start talking to them. Ask what have they been doing? What are they up to job-wise? And they were obviously just going to ask you back. It's just common nature. And you've basically been invited to tell them about your business. I'm always promoting my lifestyle, but not in your face. People see you at success days and training days. They know what you do. You don't need to write it in every status. As an example, I've just bought a Ted Baker top, thank you Forever. From talking to people I know, this is what really annoys them. And don't keep putting join my team, buy this, buy this. Your lifestyle will attract people. Just let them know what you're doing, but be subtle. I'll always say when I've been to a school play or been to the gym at 11 o'clock, as other people would wish they could be doing the same. Sometimes you can't be subtle, like when I bought my new car. Forever do pay for it at the end of the day with car plan. And there's a little beauty with the personal number plate as well. I've not had many haters, thankfully, but I think lots of people will come along and discover these at some point in their Forever journey. It did worry me at first, but I soon realised that people are just jealous when they say anything. And at the end of the day, everyone has the opportunity to work hard and get the same results. It's not like I've just got out and won the lottery from buying a ticket. And using social media is getting me prospects, so I do carry on doing it. And my car post brought me 3 messages of people looking at the opportunity who had said no before. And lots of people who had never even liked one of my posts made the effort to comment with their support. And it was so nice to hear people who you think aren't interested say it's nice to see how far you've come. And most of all, after having somebody put a negative comment, my dad actually decided to speak for the first time and say he was proud of me. And my cousin also sent me a message and said that she was pleased for me as well. Most of my family have never even liked a post, let alone comment of any kind of support at all. I was always more worried about my family than strangers, as we never had any money. We lived on the worst council estates in the area. I even remember being taken on a school trip in our summer holiday club to Maidstone Prison, My other school friends were getting taken to theme parks and zoos. It's true. That's how bad it was. Most of the people I went with are now in there. I had actually turned my life around before forever, but that was mainly due to meeting my husband. When we first met, my husband had an M3 convertible and a champagne lifestyle. Once we had the children, he was left with a Ford Focus and a Lamborghini bank balance. It's lovely how my own money can take us on holidays, and we can now eat out on my bank card. It's my money that's bought us that car. And we couldn't have afforded 3 children before forever. And Dave has always wanted a son, and now he's got one, along with his 2 gorgeous daughters. I have to be honest, when it comes to using the telephone and calling anyone about the business opportunity, I've always had to agree to first. Using the phone though is definitely the better option than Facebook, and I always go from the Facebook to the phone call stage really quickly. I will send my own 5-minute video, and I'd advise if you haven't got one that you do your own, even if it's just on your phone in your bedroom. When you've got, I send them my 5-minute video, and then I'll say to them, when have you got 5 minutes so I can give you a quick call and take some of your details? Then we can arrange for you to hear about the business in full. This call would just involve asking them about themselves, their work experience, and then I will end it with, that's great, well you're definitely the sort of person I'm looking to work with. And with your experience, I think you could definitely do well. So I'd like to move you on to the next stage. This makes them feel that you don't just want anyone, and it makes them feel that you just want them. So this photo represents my 4 best recruiting tools. And in case anyone was thinking, Thomas wasn't just because I ran out of people for my Who Do You Know list. I'm dedicated to forever, but that's taking it a bit far. So my husband's job, his rugby team, my children's dance and swimming clubs, the schools, baby groups, antenatal groups, birthday parties, the pub. Never a day goes past that you can't add to your Who Do You Know list. Join groups, make friends, slimming groups, fitness groups, the list goes on. I've always found referrals the hardest part. I'm not sure why, but I struggle with those words. Do you know anyone that might be interested? Not really that hard, is it? But I find it really hard, but I also find the follow-ups really hard. I think it's because I don't want to look desperate and I don't want to look annoying. So I found what worked for me was to put them together. So if someone said no, they're too busy for example, a month later I'll send them something like this. Hi Sam, I'm just doing some work on my business and you popped up on my newsfeed. I know you said you don't have the time when I spoke to you about the business opportunity, but I'm looking for people just like you with a brilliant recruitment background and great personality. Do you know anyone else like you, as I know they could do as well as I have? Someone who may be interested in working from home so they get more time with their children. As what I'm doing here is I'm making them think about their hot buttons, and I'm making them think that actually they could do it. And if they don't, then they might just recommend me somebody. So there's 2 things that could happen. Contact marketing. When I first heard the words contact marketing, I thought, there's no way I'm standing in a street with a clipboard. It's definitely not the choice for me, and I've never done it. But this can be in your normal day, at the school gate, in the children's centre, at the petrol station, go out with a forever top on, get your kids in t-shirts and take them on holiday like I did. I recruited somebody in Egypt when I was out there. Not Egyptian, she was from Cumbria, but it was because of those t-shirts. So that way people could approach you. If you get served by someone in a restaurant, you could say something like this. You must love your job working on a Saturday night. She says, yes I do actually. So you reply, I can tell you seem really happy and friendly and it makes a change to get such good service. I'd love someone as good as you in my team. Would you be interested in earning more money? If the answer is no, I hate it, I just need the money, then you could say, oh what a shame. Having to do something you hate? Well, I may have a solution for you, as I'm looking for people with great customer service skills just like you. Some CDs that have helped me so far with things to do with contact marketing is Wes Linden's 79 Network Marketing Tips and Eric Worre Go Pro. So if you haven't got them already, then I suggest that you do. You need to let go of the outcome and move on. Now, I'm not saying I thought like that in my first few weeks or even months. In my first few months, the no's really got me down. People ignored my messages and I was never going to speak to them again. I had a few yeses that joined other teams. That really upset me. But once I changed my mindset, business really moved up a level. That's what took me from supervisor to manager in 6 weeks. So many people have been a customer for a long time and they've never been asked if they're interested about the business. If you don't ask, someone else will, and that's your own fault. You can't moan. Every order I give out goes in a forever bag with 100 reasons why leaflet and my business card stapled to it. And I put another recruitment leaflet, which I've got quite a few different ones of. And every time I put something else in there, like an aloe vera leaflet or an aloe matters, so it builds up their interest in the quality of our products and the variety that we do. Before you contact anyone, make sure you properly profile them. It's really important that you don't just send a message to somebody without checking them out first, even if you know them. Look at their Facebook profile. Are they married? Do they have children? Are they professional, such as not swearing on Facebook all the time? There's 2 reasons why. You want a certain person, you don't just want anybody because they just take up your time. And also you need to know, how are you going to approach them? Can you find their hot button? Not going back to maternity? Have they said they can't afford a holiday or a new car? As my pregnancy progressed, I realised my why was getting stronger. Our little boy was coming along and I wanted to enjoy time being with him. As I remembered how it felt taking my 2 girls to nursery at just 7 months old. I never ever want to return to an office job. Being my own boss, is the only way now. I had a bad pregnancy. Nausea lasted for 9 months. People that are having to drive me to success days and things were it was awful. I had to carry a bag with me the whole time. I was in and out of hospital with all sorts of things, and eventually I was induced with a dangerous liver condition a week early. But my business had plateaued around the beginning of this year after I broke my first manager. Me and my sponsor Rachel both got to manager in July last year. She worked out that if I did my 600 case credits, she could do her 700 and she could get to Singapore and get a chairman's bonus check. She called me one day and said if I did my 600, she would take me with her as her +1. This was before I was pregnant, but I was determined I was still going, and we did. We did it, which was amazing. There's some pictures there. This totally gave me that extra push I needed. There was no way I was ever missing a forever trip. So I started following up the people I should have before. I started a group where I worked even closer with my downline, who agreed that they wanted it, and I gave them daily help with their recruiting. This worked amazing. My CCs went from 179 in April when we was in Singapore to 249 in May and 314 in June. I broke my 2nd and 3rd manager, got Clarpan level 3, 100 Club level 3, just in time for our little boy to arrive. Don't get drawn into answering lots of questions on Facebook. You want people to either come to a VP or meet you for a one-to-one. Showing people the business is a really important stage of sponsoring. I hear all the time that business owners are getting disheartened because they get lots of interest, then they never get anyone to sign up with them. This is because you haven't shown them the business properly. It could be that you're hidden behind a message on Facebook. It could be that they've read into what you've sent them wrongly. It could be that you scare them off with a hard sales pitch because you're so desperate. It could be that you've gone in with the wrong mindset because the last 10 people said no, so this person will. I always offer my team to do their first one-to-ones with them. Not for them, but with them, so they can learn. And going to BP at least twice a month is a must. Even if you haven't got prospects, just so you can learn how to talk about the business. You need to be going to a one-to-one fully prepared. I take my forever bag, my laptop for the slides, my application forms, international directory, incentive brochure, first steps to manager, leaflets, a few samples for them to take home and a business brochure. And I start off by talking about them. It's important that you let them do lots of the talking. They'll then feel valued and you'll build a rapport, which is really, really important, so they trust you. Find out why they're looking at the business. Don't give them too many facts and figures. It's just too much to take in. I just didn't understand it at all when I started. If it all looks too scary, they think they can't do it. And then that's what makes them say no. People need to feel comfortable they're going to be able to do the same as you. When you know their hot button, you can use this to close the meeting. So for example, they say they need more money. So you ask them how much do they need a month? And why is that important to you? And they may tell you because they have debts. So you ask them what would be the consequence if you're not earning another £300 a month? And they reply they would have to go back to work full time after maternity leave. So you can finish by saying, well now you can see how I can help you not have to go back to work full time and pay off your debts. So basically, they would have just told you why they need to join you. So I hope there's been a few bits there that may help you. You just need to get out there and make friends, speak to people, and that will grow your business. And I've got a few top tips here. Invest in some CDs and books to help you. Get some urgency. Turn off the TV for at least an hour a night. EastEnders will not help you build your business. Get rid of the fear. Work on your mindset every day. Don't make excuses because they won't build your business. The more people you talk to, the more money you'll make. And don't be upset by the results you didn't get for the work you didn't do.